Right, so I just got sent this in chat earlier by one of my fans. Detroit air quality is worst in the world Wednesday due to wildfire smoke. For those that don't know, Wednesday is today, as I'm recording this. Today, right now, as we speak. Literally the worst in the world. Right now, in all the world, the air quality of Detroit is currently the worst. And the reason for this, of course, is Canada. Always, every single problem that you can imagine, the source is Canada, of course. Air quality in the Metro Detroit area was even worse on Wednesday than it was on Tuesday, ranking it as second worst in the world as of Wednesday morning. A thick smoke layer has drifted down into Detroit from ongoing wildfires burning in Canada. The smoke has significantly reduced visibility in Metro Detroit, with some areas experiencing little to no visibility early Wednesday. This isn't just bad air quality, guys. This is like, oh god, it's Silent Hill outside. Oh boy, it's a lot like what happened in New York recently, for the same reason, Canada. Wildfire smoke drifted further south into the US on Tuesday and has affected air quality in a few states, including here in Michigan. On Wednesday, June 28th, Detroit's air quality was ranked second worst in the world, behind Dubai. Really, Dubai? I mean, I guess, yeah. By IQ Air's Air Quality Index, that ranking identified Detroit's AQI as 168 on a 500 scale, which would mean the air is in the unhealthy range. But airnow.gov, a website published by U.S. government agencies, reported that Detroit's air quality was in the hazardous range Wednesday morning. As of 6 a.m., AirNow listed Detroit's AQI at 366. AirNow listed Dubai's air quality at 204. Xander Hall, also legit if you think it's bad in America at the moment. It's 10 times worse for the Canadians living near the fires. I know. I'm just being facetious, okay? My heart goes out to everybody who's being affected by this, because air quality is not one of those things you really think about until, you take it for granted until it's something that you really start thinking about. And yeah, I can't imagine feeling as though I'm being smothered by the very air in an entire area. Like, you just can't escape it. It's the entire city. It's the entire state, half the state, an entire section of the country. An air quality alert has been extended into Wednesday and could be extended into Thursday again for southeast Michigan. Small particles in the wildfire smoke can irritate the eyes, nose, and throat, and can affect the heart and lungs, making it harder to breathe, especially for those in sensitive groups. Also, I have no doubt that this can lead to permanent damage. Please, guys, if you can go outside and you think you can handle the smoke, you can handle the bad air because it just makes you cough a little and you're like, yeah, I can tough it out. Don't do that. You are actively permanently damaging your lungs for every breath you take of that rancid, carcinogenic, tainted air, okay? If you have to go outside, do everything that you can to mitigate how much pollutant you breathe in. Try to mitigate how much of this pollutant in the air can get into your house. I've been told that a really good way to do this is to, well, Balsa's wet bandana is a good way to prevent yourself from breathing it in, a good mask. But also, you can take a towel, or you can take a sheet, or a like a big comforter that you don't care about anymore. Maybe it's been like eaten up by moths, and you can wet it in your bathtub, like get it soaking wet in your bathtub, and then you can sort of wring it, not quite wring it out, but twist it so that it's like a long sort of string, like a thick, long snake of a thing, and it needs to be soaking wet, like nice and damp, and shove that under the cracks of your windows and doors. Yeah, kind of like a rope. Yeah, it's a better way to describe it. Shove that in the cracks of your windows and doors, and that will help to prevent a lot of the smoke and shit from getting underneath those cracks and into your house. And remember, even if your air in your house doesn't look smoggy, it's inside. Your house probably isn't that big, so you can't see how much the pollution that's getting inside is disturbing the visibility in the air inside your house. Look for areas where you might be having a lot of airflow coming in and block those up. Seriously. Protect your lungs. They are not going to be as strong, and this shit will catch up to them when they get older. People are urged to stay indoors as much as possible and keep windows closed. Those who must go outdoors are urged to limit their time outside and to wear a mask if outside for a prolonged period of time. The National Weather Service encourages people to run their central air conditioning with MERV 13 or higher rated filters, if possible. So yeah, if you can, like, buy some new air filters, make sure they're rated high enough for this air quality, and, get some fresh ones. If you can. They're probably sold out in your area, if I was to take a wild guess. IQ Air had Dubai ranked number 1 for the worst air quality in the world on Wednesday. After Detroit, Chicago was ranked number 3. Minneapolis, Minnesota was ranked number 6, and Washington, D.C. was ranked number 14. Wildfires have been burning up stretches of Canada forests for weeks. Wildfire smoke has affected different parts of the USA at different times. Earlier this month, northeastern states were blanketed by the smoke, prompting a number of closure warnings for people to stay inside. I am so sorry if you live in Detroit right now. This sucks. I like how we just now have a wildfire season that coats the northern, United States and the western United States in smoke. Like, half the year. That's just the thing that happens now on this planet. It sucks so much that climate change isn't a topic people really care that much about. Like, climate change deniers know they're full of shit, or they're so stupid you can't reach them. So they don't, engage with anything that calls them out. And people who believe in climate change think that it's such a settled issue that if I make a video about climate change, dunking on climate change deniers, it will do poorly. Notably, compared to any other video I could do, a video debunking climate change denial will do poorly. And this isn't me complaining. This is true of Vosh, of Keffels, of Shark, of any other lefty content creator you could think of. If they made a climate change denial debunking video, that video will do worse, significantly so, than most of their other content. A lot of lefties, even, just don't really engage with, discussions about how serious climate change is as a topic. It's weird. It's a death cult, Zan. Evangelicals believe that climate change is just the rapture. That is true. A lot of them do kind of believe that. Well, it's not necessarily that. A lot of them believe that, the symptoms of climate change are God acting to punish sinners or whatever. They were doing there was a church that was doing a pride event, and lightning struck it and started a fire, and there was a viral post about it on Twitter, and hundreds of thousands of likes were on the post, and it was saying that this was God punishing them for housing groomers, and all the comments were like, if only it was lethal. Christ. Yeah, climate change is a serious issue. It really frustrates me that it doesn't get as much attention as it deserves, because, it really is the most important issue I think that humanity is facing right now. We're going to see a ridiculous amount of people displaced, killed, and just entire, climate refugees are going to be a big topic of discussion in the coming decades. Not only that, but the result of that political turmoil could go anywhere. It could radicalize people to socialism, or it could be taken advantage of by far-right people to lead people towards fascism. Specific facts of climate change that are the most defensible are not well known, I've noticed. I will say, a lot of chuds have started to get away with claiming, I'm a climate skeptic. I'm not really sure this whole climate change thing is as real as they make it out to be. The story keeps changing. It's like, what? It's like, first it was global cooling, then it was that we're going to be underwater in 5 years or whatever. It's like, no. No, also, our understanding of what's going to happen climate-wise to the world gets clearer the closer we get to that future. So obviously our estimations would change. But basically they try to say, because these estimations have changed before, why should they be believed now? Republicans changed it to climate change. Well, no, the proper term is climate change. Global warming is a symptom of climate change. Every recent development has shown that we're underestimating the pace at which the climate is warming. Is that true? Oh, fuck, that is really scary. I feel like where we're going to see it first is Florida. At least as far as America goes, we're going to see it in Florida first. There are some coastal towns and cities and neighborhoods, etc., businesses in Florida that are literally a few inches of storm surge away from being in knee-deep water. And they flood to knee-deep water during some storms. So if, like, the average depth of the water goes up by, like, half a foot, it's over when the first storm surge or, like, super tide comes in. Like, that would be bad. Like, really bad as a Floridian who's seen some high tides and what high tides in Florida do, how much damage they can cause. If that average goes up and you get hit with one of those, I have seen towns flood in Florida, okay? I was a kid when... What was the hurricane that hit when I was a kid? And me and my mom were in that beach town, and like, the ocean came up to our knees, and we had to sit on a bench to get out of the water. Was it Katrina? No, I was too old for it to be Katrina. Let me text my mom. Yeah, like, the results of climate change are going to be very varied. Very varied. Very numerous. Obviously, you've got the things like burning forests, massive swathing forest fires that result in huge choking clouds of dark smoke wafting over the countryside. But then you also have the fact that across the country, notably in these more flat, low-lying states, your Louisianas, your Floridas, your Georgias, your Carolinas, you're going to see some serious damage from there being a rise in, especially on the East Coast and on the Gulf. You're going to see some serious damage come about from rising sea levels. Even if it's like half a foot average, the next hurricane or storm surge is going to take out entire towns. Yeah, tornadoes have gotten worse too. I remember when I was a kid, tornadoes would happen in Florida, like once every... Like, you heard about it if a tornado happened in Florida. And then by the time I was a teenager, it was like, another tornado in the area? Like, that's the second time this week. There were always water spouts off the coast if you look out on the water during storms, but that's different. You know what's probably not going to exist after not too long now? The Keys. The Florida Keys and much of the Everglades. The Everglades relies on a dry season that may not be able to exist if sea levels go up too much. Not only that, but I mean, the Keys are very low-lying and very isolated from Florida. Like, rising sea levels could just kind of take them out. The bridge, the bridge that you take to get out to the Keys off of Florida, have been destroyed and collapsed by hurricanes famously before. Imagine if the sea level goes up. Yeah, the Keys are gorgeous. See them while you can, unless you're gay, because they'll kill you in Florida or something. Here in Florida, millions of dollars are paid by hotel owners to maintain beaches. I anticipate an eventual shitstorm once it's no longer possible to refill deteriorating beaches. Yeah. It's going to turn into just like mangroves and flooded land. It wouldn't really be that bad if it became a mangrove ecosystem, because mangrove ecosystems are pretty valuable. But the Everglades themselves are very unique and valuable as well. We don't want them going away. A lot of sinkholes. I don't think sinkholes... No, sinkholes are an issue of climate change. You're right. Because for those that don't know, Florida, and this is more of a Florida issue, there is an expansive aquifer underneath Florida. Many water-filled caves that have very high pressure that you could argue kind of hold up a large amount of the land in Florida. And when those aquifers empty out, they become dry, empty caves under the ground. And eventually the limestone and mud just kind of collapses, and you get a lot of sinkholes in Florida. Yeah, my uncle's husband investigates them. Funnily enough, my uncle had the same job. Worked for the state of Florida investigating sinks, blue holes, stuff like that. Springs. Matter of fact, let me show you what this looks like. Florida sinkhole, and the aquifer is drying up. That aquifer is freshwater. Sea level rise risks contaminating it with salt water. That's true, but the bigger concern is that it's also drying up right now. I won't pretend that watching videos of sinkholes isn't cool. You know, they are pretty cool.
Early this morning, neighbors just outside of Tampa, Florida, startled by a sharp, crackling sound. The earth had opened beneath them, a dangerous sinkhole quickly growing.
There's a sinkhole right next to our neighbor's house, and it's literally eating the house, like, completely.
Look at that. It's a sinkhole.
Jose Rodriguez and his family at first didn't understand what was happening, but then scrambled to safety as the walls in their homes cracked and the floors buckled under their feet.
The first time I didn't know what to do, actually. I just saw the house. It was bouncing, cracking, falling apart.
The sinkhole is now 225 feet in diameter, approximately 50 feet deep, and growing as residents in nearby homes evacuate.
Unfortunately, I don't think people in this community are going to sleep peacefully for a couple weeks.
This part of Florida is known as Sinkhole Alley. In 2013, just an hour away, another massive sinkhole swallowed a man after it opened beneath his bedroom. His body was never found. Florida's
Horrible.
sandy soil sits on top of a layer of clay and a layer of limestone. Circulating water from too much rain or drought can dissolve the underground layers, causing the earth to give way. And when that happens, usually without warning, everything, including homes, go down as the earth collapses. Tonight, with 2 homes already.
Yeah. Yeah, climate change is a big deal. And Republicans who deny it and continue to perpetuate it, arguably, are, they're allowing this to happen and also enabling it to happen. And they'll continue to do that. And they know what they're doing. They're being paid to do this. They're paid to deny it, mostly by oil companies. A lot of other companies have a pretty good stake in wanting to prevent eco-friendly policies from being passed as well, because it would harm their bottom line, and companies are generally not very, they're not usually very generous and non-self-serving. Like CEOs and shareholders tend to just want money now. You could call it evil. Yeah, you could call it evil, Winby. You could definitely call it that. That's a word you might call it.